You were sitting in the living room, laptop open, half focused on your assignment, as the dim evening light poured in through the curtains. The house was quiet except for the ticking of the clock and the occasional whistle of paper. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, slicing through the calm. You flinched slightly, your hands freezing on the keyboard. You were just about to get up when your little brother bolted toward the door, eager and loud as always. But something in your chest shifted. A strange heaviness settled in your gut. Somehow you knew who it was even before the door opened. The moment your eyes lifted from the screen, your breath hitched, froze completely in your lungs. There he was, Jungkook, dressed in all black. His tailored blazer clung to his frame like sin, with silver cufflinks glinting like gold steel. A jet black turtleneck hugged his neck, his broad shoulders framed like a villain straight out of a nightmare. Dark slacks, polished boots, and rings on his fingers that matched the piercing in his brow. His hair was tousled but deliberate, a dark storm above those sharp, unreadable eyes. He looked like a man who didn't knock to enter. He conquered his way in. Beside him stood a woman, not the same secretary you had seen before, not Soya. You blinked, confused. Why isn't Soya with him? Did he really change her because of me? The new secretary, tall, sharp, and stone faced, stood in a full length black dress, modest and buttoned up to the collar. The memory flashed in your mind once you had told Jungkook you were uncomfortable with Soya's traveling outfits, and just like that, he replaced her. He was listening. Her name was Unmi. You remembered it from the last message he sent. Cold, efficient, the perfect shadow behind the man who now took slow, predatory steps toward you. You instinctively stood up, your throat dry, his eyes locked with yours, and you couldn't look away even if you tried. Why were you ignoring my calls? His voice was calm, too calm, the kind of calm that came right before a storm. His hands were in his pockets, but the tension in his jaw, the twitch in his brow, you knew this was the kind of anger that simmered, quite dangerous. He tilted his head slightly, eyes scanning your face with unnerving intensity. You think I wouldn't come for you? You glanced toward on me, searching for a distraction, anything. He noticed he turned his head just enough, gave her a subtle nod, on me bowed respectfully, her heels clicking. As she silently exited the house, closing the door behind her with a soft thud. Now it was just you and him, the air thickened. He took another step close enough for you to catch the faint scent of his cologne, woody, spicy, intoxicating. You have got 5 seconds to explain before I lose the little patience I have left. His gaze dropped to your lips, and you knew this wasn't a casual visit. This was John Jungkook, the man who didn't know how to let go, the man who didn't tolerate distance. Obsession clung to him like a second skin, and it was all for you. On me, quietly closed the door behind her, heels fading down the hallway, leaving only silence in her wake. You didn't even glance at Jungkook. Instead, you walked back to the sofa, picked up your notebook, and sat down like he wasn't standing there. Seating just a few feet away, he stood still, watching, breathing hard, trying to stay calm. Wine, talk to me. You flipped a page, barely blinking. Wine, I swear to God, don't test me right now. You leaned back, resting your head lazily against the cushion, lips pressed into a line. You knew exactly how to break him. Are you just gonna act like I don't exist? No reply. The sound of the walls shattering across the floor rang through the room like thunder. You flinched slightly, but didn't look. The silence that followed was deadly. Your head finally turned toward him, your eyes locked onto his, blazing with fire and mockery. Feel better now. Breaking things is your new love language. His jaw tightened. Did you hug your secretary today too? I mean, she's fully dressed this time. Must have been hard for you. You knew what you were doing. You knew exactly how to press his buttons, and you did it anyway. His jaw clenched. What did you just say? You met his gaze, tilting your head with a mocking smile. I'm just saying, since you replaced Soya with what's her name on me, new face, new rules, or just a new toy. His eyes darkened, brows furrowing in frustration. Do you think this is funny? And how do you know my secretary hugged me? You stood up, slow and deliberate, walking toward him like you were about to deliver that sentence. Simple, you called me to your office just to show me how comfortably you hugged your secretary. His breath hitched. Was that a demo, Jungkook, or did you just want to see if I would stay quiet while you embarrassed me? He opened his mouth to speak. Nothing came out. You tilted your head. Congratulations, though. You really nailed it. Even the part where she laughed like it was an everyday thing. It took a shaky breath, but you were not done. Next time, maybe don't invite the girl you're trying to own into the room where you are busy being generous with your arms. Now it was silent again, but this time it wasn't your silence. It was his. Flashback, the soft morning light filtered through your curtains, casting a golden glow across your room as you stood in front of the full length mirror. Your fingers adjusted the sheer sleeves of your pastel pink frock, elegant, flowing just above the ankles, cinched at the waist with a delicate ribbon bow. The neckline was modest, ruffled lightly, while tiny embroidered flowers bloomed across the fabric like whispered secrets. You brushed a hand over your freshly straightened hair, letting it fall neatly over your shoulders. A light pink glow coated your lips, matching the shimmer on your eyelids. You looked beautiful, innocent, excited. But mostly, you looked like someone who was about to see someone special. Your phone buzzed. Miss, I'm waiting outside. Sir told me to bring you to his office. Your heart skipped. Chungkook had asked for you, called you to his office. You smiled softly to yourself, picked up your matching white handbag, and hurried out the door. The drive was smooth, but you just fluttered the entire time. You couldn't help it. The way he had sounded on the phone yesterday, so calm, so commanding, yet soft when he said, I want to see you wine. You stepped out of the black car, heels clicking on the marble floor of his building. Everyone already knew who you were, his girl. His staff bowed politely as you passed, and you offered them a small note, walking with a graceful confidence straight to the top floor. You didn't knock, you never had to. The door to his office was slightly open, just like always. You smiled faintly and pushed it open with a soft creak, but then you froze. Your heart stopped, time slowed. There he was, Jungkook, standing near the edge of his desk, his broad back facing you, and she was in his arms. Soya, his secretary, slim, dressed in a tight white blouse tucked into a short pencil skirt, heels higher than appropriate, arms clinging around your man like she belonged there. And worse, he wasn't stopping her. His arms were not exactly wrapped around her, no, but he wasn't pushing her away either. They stood there like it was nothing. You didn't make a sound, you didn't move, you just stood there like your soul had been shattered in slow motion. Your fingers gripped the strap of your handbag so tightly it hurt, but you didn't cry. You simply stepped back quietly, carefully. You left the way you came, no words, no explanations. Just silence. From that day, everything inside you changed. You never answered his late night texts. You started leaving his calls on read. You didn't say why. You didn't owe him that. Let him wonder. Let him feel the silence he gave you in that office when he let another woman wrap her arms around him like you didn't exist. You sat on the couch, legs curled beneath you, flipping through your notebook, pretending he didn't exist, even though the tension in the room was thicker than cement. Jungkook had been facing like a madman for the past 5 minutes until he finally sighed like a dying Shakespearean hero and dropped beside you with a dramatic touch. Without warning, he snatched your notebook right out of your hands and held it hostage in the air. Please tell me why you're not talking to me. You trying to kill me with silence. You roll your eyes, snatched a cushion, and smacked it against his arm. Are you a child, June? He blinked innocently, still sulking. June, why are you pouting like a kicked puppy? Am I that important? Don't gas yourself, but yes. You bite back a laugh, crossing your arms dramatically. Wow, so Mr. Mafia King is sulking on my couch like he lost his lollipop. He narrowed his eyes. Don't test me, just tell me. You let out a long sigh, heart racing. Maybe it was time. You had tortured him enough. Slowly, you turned toward him, your expression unreadable. Fine, you want to know why I stopped talking to you. Yes, finally, hit me. All right, I came to your office that day, the one you called me to. I didn't knock, the door was already open. His smirk started to fade. And there she was, Soya, hugging you, clinging like a koala on caffeine, and you just standing there, not even pushing her away. His face dropped like a man hit by a truck. Wait, what? Yeah, surprise. That's what I saw. That's why you were ignoring me. I don't know, wouldn't you ignore someone who suddenly turned into a tree and let their secretary drape herself all over them like a designer coat? He gawked at you, stunned, and suddenly burst out. Hey, don't think like that. I didn't even know she was gonna pull that move. You stared at him unimpressed, so your arms forgot how to move too. He leaned closer, voice low. She catch me off guard, okay, and guess what? Now she's in my basement. You blinked. Excuse me? You don't even know if she's alive or dead. Haven't checked in days. Jungkook, what? And that's why I changed my secretary on me. Doesn't even make eye contact. You happy now? You burst out laughing despite yourself smacking his arm again. You are insane. Insane for you. You looked away quickly, cheeks healing. Shut up. No, not until you say you forgive me. Your eyes locked, heart beat loud, wild, unforgiving. At least look at me properly once. You ignored me like I was a fly on the wall. You looked up at him, tilted your head dramatically, squinted. Oh, sorry, didn't notice. I thought you were the wall. You little menace. He reached out to grab your arm, but you slapped his hand away, snatching your notebook back like it was your child. Keep your mafia hands to yourself, Joan. You lost hugging privileges when you turned into a statue for Soya. For the love of God, I didn't hug her, she hugged me. Why does nobody ever arrest her arms? You didn't push her either. You stood there like your soul left your body. Honestly, for a mafia boss, you sucked at escaping ambushes. Okay, rude. I tell people, not girls. That's discrimination. I'm proud of you, feminist king, but also, basement really. Just temporary, she's got water, I think. You blinked. You think might have turned off the lights too for ambience. You stared at him for a full 5 seconds. I'm dating a criminally dramatic lunatic. Dating finally admitted it. You threw a cushion at his face. Shut up. Say it again. Say what? That I'm yours. In your dreams, you are my dream. You gagged. Who writes your lines? Netflix? No, I wrote that in my notes app at 3 a.m. crying. You laughed loud and uncontrollably. And he just stared at you with this stupid little smile, soaking it in like sunlight after a storm. There, that's what I missed.